All right, everyone. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And Sonam didn't come tonight. Anyway, all right. Okay. He sounds a bit wobbly. Sorry. All right. Okay. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. I just want to make sure you can hear me okay. The sound is all right. Okay. Thumbs up over there. Thank you. All righty. And just be nice and comfortable, just be relaxed and feet on the floor. Really try and kind of ground your feet on the floor. Ground yourself through the feet on the floor and your knees about hips width apart, shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light and it stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Take a nice deep breath. Bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. And the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the back of the head, the back of the neck. And relax the jaw, the temples, the ears. Allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. And take a nice deep breath. And be aware of sound in your environment. Just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And just at the edge of your awareness, try and just track when your mind just starts to wander off when you hear something. And try and imagine shifting the focus back to your internal self. Then also be aware of the thoughts that are arising in the mind. And just notice kind of what's there this evening. And just allow the thoughts to be there, and let them arise and abide and just trail off. And maybe notice if there's something there that's a little bit jarring for your mind, or maybe you're having happy thoughts, but regardless, you can just try not to follow them or judge them or be critical of them. And take a step back and be a little objective about what's there, just really trying to put some space in between the thoughts before they overwhelm you. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, the loved ones, those people in your life you have just these really strong relationships with, people you care about enormously. And then there's the ones you don't like super well, don't have a great relationship with these ones, and then are strangers. They can all change place at any time. So they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positivity. So we start with this power of regret, these four opponent powers in the context of Vajra, with this Vajrasattva practice in the context of the four opponent powers. I think is how you say. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So now we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor. And here we have our beautiful Buddha. And we don't see this Vajrasattva as a higher power or something that's going to take all the pain away, etc., etc. So we're using his methods to purify ourselves, to heal our own selves. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion, and has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So now we have this little section on compassion, and it's also part of this section on reliance, because we're relying on other beings in order to develop compassion. So think, first of all, of the people who've harmed you, and then think about the people you've harmed, particularly the people who've harmed you, because the harm that they've caused you is going to ripen as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with that body of yours. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe am vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And this includes yourself, because you know you hear everything you say. And then purify the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine the moment the light hits your heart chakra from Vajrasattva's heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So all your attachment and neediness and anger and jealousy, depression, bitterness, resentment, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So imagine that all your delusions, and this is the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar and fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is the determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So making a determination becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something that you've been working on. Don't forget to rejoice in your own efforts. And just sort of, maybe it's reactivity. And how would you deal with that? Well, you would put some space between the thoughts that are coming up and what you're actually going to do about them. Or somebody says something to you, and rather than reacting, you might say something like, I need to think about that for a little while. And you just give yourself some space. So that's another way of working with some of the habits that we have. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with you. He wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, the Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we'll dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and to be able to continue to teach and to serve. So we need people like that in the world. Then the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then think of all your own personal teachers. Make a strong wish for them to live long. Okay.